So hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we will be understanding the kinetic theory of gas, which is also known as KTOG. And trust me guys, if you watch this video till the end, then you are not only going to learn all the concepts related to this theory, but I will make sure that this lecture isn't the bored one as your usual ones. Okay, so before starting with the actual theory, let's have a quick introduction about what this theory is all about. So, this theory was introduced by Bernoulli in 1738, and later on it was modified by Clausius, Maxwell, Boltzmann, and van der Waals. Now, what does this theory include? This theory provides the theoretical base to the gas laws, which means that this theory gives us a theory of the gas laws like the Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, and Gay-Lussac's law. Okay, now here one assumption is made. This theory is proposed assuming that the gas is an ideal gas. And what is an ideal gas? Ideal gas is nothing but the gas which satisfies the ideal gas equation PV is equals to nRT. Now guys, if you don't know what is an ideal gas, I have already made a video on that. You can find the link in the description box below, or you can simply click on this link over here. Okay, so this theory is proposed assuming that the gas is an ideal gas. Now let's move on to the theory. This theory has 7 postulates. Now, what is the meaning of postulates? Postulate is nothing but assumptions. So, this kinetic theory of gas is completely based on 7 assumptions. Now, let's understand each postulate one by one. So, the first postulate tells us that all gases consist of tiny discrete particles called as molecules. Now, to understand this postulate, you need to know one concept over here. Suppose I take a chlorine gas. Okay, so this chlorine gas will never be present in nature as a single chlorine atom. Instead, it will be present in nature as a combination of two atoms, which is nothing but a molecules. So in nature, you will never find the atom of chlorine. Instead, you will always find a molecule of chlorine. Now you might be wondering, why is it so? Because a single atom of chlorine is highly unstable, and if it wants to become stable, it needs to combine another atom and form a Cl2 molecule. Now this is not only for chlorine gas, but for any gas which is present in nature, whether it be your hydrogen gas, helium gas, any gas, all gases will be present in the form of molecules. Okay, I hope you have understood this. Now what we do is that inside the container we take chlorine gas. Okay, so inside this container we are having chlorine gas. Now what is the smallest particle of this chlorine gas? It is obvious that the smallest particle of this chlorine gas is nothing but the Cl2 molecules. Am I right? So this is what the postulate is trying to tell us. All gases consist of tiny discrete particles, that is the smallest particles, called as molecules. In this example, we have Cl2 as the molecule. Suppose you take hydrogen gas over here, we will be having H2 as the molecule. Okay, I hope you have understood up till now. Now, this first postulate has few more points. Let's understand them also. All gas molecules of the same gas have same mass and size. It is obvious that you compare a Cl2 molecule with some another Cl2 molecule, they are going to have same mass and same size. Okay. Now the third point states that masses and size of molecules of different gases are different. Now what is the meaning of this point? Suppose you compare a Cl2 molecule with H2 molecule, then it is obvious that their masses will be different and their size will also be different. So the different gases are going to have molecules of different size and different mass. So here we complete our first postulate. Now moving ahead with the second postulate. The second postulate tells us that all gas molecules in a container are in gaseous random motion. What is the meaning of this? Here you know that inside a container there are gas molecules. Now these gas molecules are moving in any random direction with great velocity. This is what the second postulate is trying to tell us, that all gas molecules in a container are in gaseous random motion. And when they are in gaseous random motion, they collide with each other. It is obvious that when the molecules are moving with great velocity, then they are going to collide with each other, as well as they are going to collide with the walls of the container. So the molecules are not only going to collide with each other, but they are also going to collide with the walls of the container. Okay, so I hope you have understood this second point as well. So moving ahead to the third postulate. So the third postulate tells us that collisions of gas molecules with the walls of the container are responsible for observed pressure of the gas. Now I know that many of you have not understood what this point is all about. Now to understand this point, you first must know the pressure of the gas. What is the meaning of pressure of the gas? So let's understand that. As we all know that when gas molecules collide on the wall of the container, they apply force. It is obvious that when these gas molecules, which are moving with great velocity, when they collide with the walls of the container, obviously they are going to apply some force. Okay, so keeping this thing in mind, what is the formula for pressure? Pressure is nothing but force upon area. Okay, so we all know that the formula for pressure is nothing but force upon area. Now when you want to define pressure, how are you going to define pressure? Pressure is nothing but the force exerted per a unit area. Am I right? I repeat myself again. Pressure is nothing but the force exerted per unit area. So this is the generalized formula for pressure. Now, if you want to find out the definition of pressure of the gas, okay. So except this generalized definition, if you want to find out the definition of pressure of the gas, how are you going to define that? The force exerted by whom? By gas molecules. So the force exerted by gas molecules per unit area, on whom? On walls of container is called as pressure of a gas. I repeat myself again. I am writing this force exerted as it is. Now the force is exerted by whom? By gas molecules per unit area. On where they are exerting force? On walls of container is called as pressure of a gas. So can I say the pressure of a gas is caused because of these moving molecules? These moving molecules are responsible for pressure of the gas. So this is what this postulate is trying to tell us, that collisions of gas molecules with the walls of the container are responsible for observed pressure of the gas. If you want to read again, read once again, but understand this postulate, that collisions of gas molecules with whom? With the walls of the container are responsible for pressure of the gas. I hope you guys are smart enough and you have understood this third postulate easily. Okay, moving on to the fourth postulate. The fourth postulate tells us that all collisions of gas molecules are perfectly elastic. Now, what is the meaning of perfectly elastic? Let's understand the meaning of perfectly elastic first. So there are two definitions that you need to understand. Rather, there are two concepts of perfectly elastic. The first one is momentum before collision is equals to momentum after collision. Now this means that the momentum of the molecule before collision will be equals to the momentum of the molecule after collision. So the momentum is conserved. There is no change in momentum of the molecule even after the collision. Okay, this was the first point. The second point tells us that there is no loss of kinetic energy. So whenever the molecules collide, their kinetic energy is not going to lose. Okay, so let's understand this postulate. All collisions of gas molecules, whether it be the collision with the gas molecules itself or whether it be the collision of gas molecules with the container, all the collisions are perfectly elastic. So I hope you have understood this. All collisions of gas molecules, whether it be a collision with the gas molecule itself or whether it be a collision with the container, all the collisions are perfectly elastic. And I hope you have understood the meaning of perfectly elastic as well. So here we complete our fourth postulate. Now moving ahead to the fifth postulate. All gas molecules have kinetic energy and it is only proportional to temperature. Now, what is the meaning of this? In simple words, all gas molecules, okay, all gas molecules have kinetic energy. Okay, so I hope you have understood till here. All gas molecules have kinetic energy and this kinetic energy depends only on temperature. Suppose if you increase the temperature, the kinetic energy will increase. If you decrease the temperature, the kinetic energy will decrease. Okay, so here there has to be decrease. There is a mistake over here. There has to be decrease over here. If you increase the temperature, the kinetic energy will increase. If you decrease the temperature, the kinetic energy will decrease. I repeat myself again. Here there should be decrease. Okay. Now moving ahead with the sixth postulate. That is, the distance between two gas molecules is large as compared to their size. Now what does this point tells us? See, when you compare a distance between any two molecules, suppose let's consider this molecule and this molecules. The distance is very large and their size is very small. So can I say that the distance is very large as compared to their size? They are very small and they are very far away from each other. Now due to this, therefore there is no force of attraction, whereas there is no force of repulsion as well between two molecules of gas. So what they said, that their size is very small and they are very far away from each other. And since they are very far away from each other, there is no force of attraction as well as there is no force of repulsion between two molecules of gas. Okay. Now let's move on to the last postulate and the most important postulate. Volume occupied by gas molecules is negligible as compared to volume occupied by gas. Now don't get confused over here. But to understand this point, you need to know two basic meanings over here. That is the volume occupied by gas molecules and volume occupied by gas. Okay, so let's take a container over here and inside this container there are gas molecules. So now can I say that the volume occupied by the gas is nothing but the volume of the container? Am I right? So what is the volume occupied by gas? Volume occupied by gas is nothing but the volume of the container. As we all know that the gas occupies the whole volume in which they are kept. So the gas molecules are kept inside the container, so they are going to occupy the whole volume of the container. So can I say that the volume of the gas is this complete cylinder? So I hope you have understood this over here. volume occupied by gas is nothing but the volume of the complete cylinder. Whereas now what we do is that we take this all molecules, that is we compress all the molecules in a corner. Okay, so when we compress all these molecules inside in a corner, this volume, can you see this small box over here, this volume is nothing but the volume occupied by gas molecules. Don't get confused, this complete is the volume occupied by gas, and this small square is nothing but the volume occupied by only the gas molecules. Okay, so is this clear? So what they said is that the volume occupied by the gas molecules is very small as compared to the total volume of the gas. As compared to the total volume of the gas, the volume occupied by the gas molecules is very small and it can be neglected. So this is the seventh postulate of the kinetic theory of gases. Okay, now on the basis of these seven postulates, one equation was given, that is nothing but PV is equals to 1 by 3 Nm URMS the whole square. Now don't worry, we will understand each term one by one. This P and this equation, this complete equation is known as the kinetic gas equation. Okay, so this complete equation is known as the kinetic gas equation. Now this P is nothing but the pressure of the gas. This V is nothing but the volume of the gas. Volume of the gas means what? Volume of the container. Am I right? And this N is nothing but the number of molecules of gas. And this M is nothing but mass of one molecule. So this M over here is nothing but the mass of one molecule. And what is this URMS? This URMS is nothing but the root mean square velocity. Now what is this root mean square velocity? This concept is in your physics, but here I will explain you all in short, and I'll make sure that you all understand what is this root mean square velocity. Okay, suppose let's consider that there are 5 molecules of gas. So we have 5 molecules of gas inside a container. Let's assume that the velocity of the 5 molecules of gas is U1, U2, U3, U4 and U5. So all 5 molecules are going to have different velocity, that is U1, U2, U3, U4 and U5. Now suppose if I want to find out the mean of the velocity, which means that suppose if I want to find out the average velocity, so what I am going to do over here, so mean velocity is nothing but the sum of their velocities divided by the number of molecules, which is nothing but 5. Now if you have understood the mean velocity, that is nothing but the sum of the velocities divided by the number of molecules. Now suppose I want to find out the mean of square of these velocities. What I want to find out now, the mean of square of these velocities. So what I am going to do, the mean square velocity is nothing but equals to u1 square plus u2 square plus u3 square plus u4 square plus u5 square divided by the number of molecules, that is nothing but 5. Now when I take this complete mean square velocity inside a square root, what I get is nothing but the root mean square velocity. So I hope you have understood this. Root mean square velocity is nothing but you take this complete thing inside a square root. So I hope guys you have understood this KTOG. If you have any doubts, then you can email me. Email is given in the description box below. And do check out my channel where I have uploaded chemistry and physics videos. They might be helpful for you all. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you for watching this video.